Last time on Fables of Four. Clarabelle, Desmond, Ronuld, and Tom had a conference to discuss how they might go about solving the strange case of the old man found in the snow claiming to be a dragon. Clarabelle and Tom's separate culinary adventures led them to find out Sherry's strange financial situation, Dustin's plans for the guard, and Dr. Loop's odd involvement with Jove's condition. Desmond and Ronuld, however, discovered that Jove was killed and buried, and on their way back in town, they spotted an intruder in the window. Will they be able to solve this mystery, or will they too be buried in the quiet, snowy forests? Find out now. The innkeeper has obviously been charmed. He said he let that kid from the quadball team into my room 20 minutes ago to get ready for our interview.
There is a broom tied to the coat rack. It is upright and hovering a few inches off the ground.
You think this bad boy is his?
Yes. You take point here in case he tries to run. I'll go upstairs for the initial confrontation.
Only caught the first half, but I'll make sure he doesn't touch this sucker at all.
Desmond nods and ascends the stairs to his room. Instead of stopping and listening, he walks with a cadence like he's going to pass the room, then suddenly lunges over and tries the door. It is unlocked, and inside, the hooded figure is still there. A human redhead stares back at Desmond with wide, blue eyes, his face pale with surprise.
Good afternoon.
Necropy Fresium!
There is a flick of a wand, and a ghostly, skeletal hand springs up in the air before Desmond's face. The paladin ducks to the side and avoids the closing fingers. The figure takes this time to sprint past Desmond. Desmond just barely manages to stick out a foot in time. The Skulker trips, slamming hard into the floor and dropping his wand. While dazed, Desmond quickly wraps him in his own cloak, drags the cocoon figure into his room, and closes the door.
My apologies for the inconvenience. I just need to ask a number of questions before you depart.
Let me go! I didn't steal anything! I just got the wrong room!
Unfazed, Desmond uses rope to tie the figure to the desk chair. The knob to the room twists, and then Ronuld enters. He sees the situation and quickly closes the door behind him.
This the guy?
Correct.
Looks like a dweeb.
Shut up, you old man. I hope you have a heart attack and die.
Goodness, who pissed in your cereal?
Is the broom secure?
Yeah, arrow trap. Anyone comes by looking to be off with it, bam, arrow to the shoulder.
How long does that last?
8 hours, baby.
Desmond and the Skulker trade a look.
How is the trap disarmed?
We don't do the disarming, Pally. That's what the trap is for. Or, instead of disarming, it'd be turning this fugly little brat into a pincushion.
You shut your mouth.
I understand that you are likely feeling discomfort and frustration.
What do you want from me? Let me go already.
First question, is your name Price Wellborn?
The person widens his eyes and shrinks.
Maybe.
Excellent. You have approximately 40 minutes before the innkeeper realizes he has been charmed by you.
Boom! How do you like them apples, you toddler?
If I had the magic, I'd turn your eyes into pudding.
I'd do the same so I wouldn't have to look at your pimply face anymore.
Gentlemen, we are getting distracted. Second question, Price. Why are you here?
I found a couple business cards outside of the security wall near our change room. They were splayed out like they fell from someone's pocket. I cast a spell to find out where the rest were being stashed and figure out who was snooping around. Oh, trespassing, actually. You were trespassing, which is a crime, you know. I'll tell the guards if you don't release me.
Understood. So, you were the individual discussing matters with Dustin.
Price grows even more pale.
Oh, snap! This is the kid that killed Jove!
I didn't! That was Barrett! I just suggested that we target Jove with the book first because I saw Dr. Loop accidentally turn him into an old guy in an experiment, and I thought the book would get rid of him and save her reputation.
Ronald blinks, astonished. Price begins to tear up.
Kid, I was just jabbing at you.
You also revealed sensitive and exclusive information.
Hey, it worked for us, didn't it?
Wait, no, I didn't mean to say that. That's not fair. You can't repeat that to anyone.
I didn't understand what in the nine hells most of that sentence even was. It's this feller here you gotta worry about.
I briefly recall a book being mentioned last night, and I believe Dr. Loop is the Academy head potion master. Why do you feel the need to protect her by harming Jove?
Price continues crying. Ronald suddenly smacks him.
You hit me!
Sweet mercy, kid, pull it together. You're like a sad sack of cheese, just oozing. If you're gonna get caught, at least have some dignity about it.
Price gathers his bearings, looking resigned to his fate.
I can't tell you how the book works. I took a blood oath, but we had to choose somebody, and I wanted to make things easier on her because she is my favorite professor.
That seems rather extreme.
Oh, wait. Oh, lordy, no. Pally, I think this kid's a simp.
Pardon?
Is she hot? Is that why you wanted to help her twerp? 'Cause you wanted to see her toes?
Price blushes.
That is very reductive and objectifying, sir. I simply admire her beauty, inside and out.
Definitely a simp. You hate to see it.
So you targeted Jove with the book, assuming it would get rid of him, and when it didn't, Barrett did. Is that correct?
Price sheepishly nods.
Everyone thought that after the book did its magic, Jove would have died or something. So we tossed him out in the snow. And then to see him still alive and acting crazy like that, we got spooked, and Barrett was voluntold to take care of it.
That's pretty stone cold for a bunch of kids.
None of us are kids, you stuck-up old git. The youngest is 16. Our keeper's 21.
I'm a dwarf, Noodle Arms. I was having my midlife crisis when your great-great-grandfather was born. In all my years, I've never seen smart kids like you killing folks. Why did you do it, son?
I didn't think things would go this far. From the beginning, this seemed off, but all the other starters were for it, and I just caved. Why did I agree to this? It was so stupid.
Where is the book?
In the sports lounge somewhere, but you'll never find it. They have secret chest and arcane lock cast on it, so unless Dustin summons it, no one can access it.
Desmond and Ronald trade looks. It seems like they got all they could.
Thank you for your time.
Are you going to let me go?
Lamau, no.
We will keep you where you are until the charm wears off on the tavern owner. Then we'll make a decision from there.
Desmond begins reviewing and polishing notes. Ronald takes a power nap. Price, steeping in regret, quietly remains tied to the desk chair.
Hello, Sleepyhead. I'm glad you came again tonight. I've never met an Earthling before, until you. Are they all this interesting? Woods of Awakening. Out now.
Clarabelle rubs a layer of cinnamon glaze onto her buttermilk biscuits, and Tom gives his leftover surprise soup a few more stirs. Desmond reviews a visitor's map of the Quadball Stadium area. Ronuld suddenly wakes from his second nap.
What was that? Where's that little brat?
Being detained and monitored by the innkeeper, who will take him to the jail after our sting operation. You were present for that.
Oh? Well, then why are we in the girlie's kitchen?
We are creating a sting operation. Given the information Uncle Herschel gave, we know the quadball team expects Miss Sherry for a dinner party in the sports lounge. The nearest access point to that area from the guard shack is the change rooms, so it will likely not be warded tonight.
I think they're plotting something nefarious with her. They killed that old man Jove and dragooned Sherry into burying him. Now they're tying up loose ends. How cutthroat for a group of students.
Something about the Dostan boy is weird. I do not think things are okay with those people.
Okay, so then where do I come in? Taste testing or no-scoping kids? Or both?
I have deduced that you are an archer.
Ronuld looks at his bow, archery bracers, and large quiver of arrows.
Lucky guess. What about it?
Uncle Herschel and Miss Simmons will be a decoy for any guards passing by. Meanwhile, I will unlock the door to the change room. You can keep a perimeter and signal us if...
That sounds mad boring. I'd fall asleep, no doubt. I'm sneaky. I could help out in the front lines.
The finishing touches are placed on the decoy dinner, and the four of them set out into the night. What should have been an easy walk about the grounds becomes much more difficult when the gnome guard stationed to replace Sherry spots the pair. He catches them by surprise and immediately clocks Tom as the least confident of the two. After a small interrogation of sorts in the night snow, where Clarabelle has to spin together a hasty web of truths and lies on the spot, they just barely manage to get him to retreat after bribing him with food. Desmond and Ronuld use the interrogation of the other two to glide past the guard. Desmond heads to the change room completely unseen, but Ronuld is actually able to break away, slip into the guard shack, and steal a spare keyring, all without even his teammates noticing. He returns to Desmond kneeling by the lock, unlocks it with ease, and the two creep in, silent as shadows. By the time Clarabelle and Tom have arrived, Desmond and Ronuld have done some scouting.
What a confounding situation. We got out of that by the skin of our teeth, huh, Tom?
I hope I never see that man again.
Glad it was a success. Ronuld and I were able to do some preliminary searching.
Ronuld holds up the keyring and grins.
My, where did you get that?
Guard shack. Great thing about nosy people. Easy to distract. Huh. Well, that rhymed, didn't it?
Clarabelle looks like she's about to say something, but just keeps it to herself. The four enter the change room and meet the soft stench of sweaty fabric. They pass the rows of empty cubby shelves and smooth wooden benches, heading for the brightly lit room at the end of the far hall.
Dustin and another quadball player are in the main area, and by the light conversation, it seems like many of the other players are hiding. They have a tome open on an altar, likely the book Price referenced as the creator of Jove's condition.
I say we go in blasting.
Ronuld! They're academy students. Some of them could be as young as 13.
Lamau and? Sucks to suck, I guess. Shouldn't have killed that guy, huh? Besides, I'm pretty sure somebody said the youngest one was 26.
And Price stated they were 16.
We can have them take supper and just ask about the book. Young adults love food.
Yeah, that's the worst idea I've ever heard.
We should attempt to glean more information about the book. It could be a powerful resource that the Academy should be aware of. Opening with an attack could result in damage.
I also think we should try to talk with them. A dinner would be nice, but at least pick their brains for some info instead of filling them full of arrows.
You brats think you're so smart and can talk your way out of anything, do you? Last team I tried that with, I got a face full of poison blood vomit. But fine, let's see what happens.
The four of them enter the sports lounge. It is a large gathering hall of smooth stone and lush carpets. Eerie green flames are alight in the lanterns and windows, matching the plush emerald couches. Fireplaces are alight, but the look Dustin gives the group immediately chills the air. There is a skull-bound, black page tome floating next to him. The athlete at Dustin's side quickly closes it.
None of you look like Sherry.
We're here to figure out...
In a flurry of motion, Ronuld pulls out his bow, knocks an arrow, and takes aim at Dustin. He and the other athlete flick their wands out at once.
Tell us what the book does or I'm turning you into Swiss cheese.
Ronald, please. Why don't we all calm down?
At least let me put the biscuits down, Ronald.
What part of the kids are killing people are you idiots forgetting? Weren't you guys the smart Alex to figure it out in the first place?
Excuse the abruptness of our associate here, but we are rather interested in what happened to Jove. Mind explaining it to us?
This is priceless! A group of lowlives coming to stick up for the homeless man no one cared about. Oh, sure, cutie. I'll tell you, since you'll be joining us soon anyways. This book does a lot. In fact, as we speak, it's draining your energy and transferring it to us. Its main feature allows me to trade a soul for incredible talent. And the best part? It doesn't even have to be my soul. It can be any worthless ingrate I happen to come across. In fact, I see a few now that would turn half my team into all-stars. Get 'em, guys!
It's time to roll initiative.
Dartus Frisium!
The chasers of the team pop out from the couches on the right side of the room. One draws up a mass of entangling vines from the seams of the floor, but the withering glare Clarabelle gives her causes them to shrivel back. A beam of ice blue streaks across the room and pings off Ronald's armor.
Primary objective, neutralize the book.
In one solid motion, the paladin leaps from the twisting foliage, slides across the table, and unsheathes his hook sword. With a quick prayer, blinding light begins shrieking from the blade's surface.
Not so fast! Explodicus Laudinium!
The twins burst out of their hiding spots as well, slinging a crossfire of spells across the lounge. One sends shimmering purple at Desmond, but the light of his hook swords burns it away. The other cracks the air apart with a spell that sends Clarabelle reeling and makes Ronuld flinch. Tom seems too preoccupied keeping his soup upright to notice.
Little griefers playing whack-a-mole with us. I'll cover you, Pally.
Ronuld glows turquoise, and the grasping vines seem to part for him. He glides on the wind in a large arc, running across the wall and planting a radiant arrow deep into Barrett's thigh. He tuck rolls behind a couch, sees the other twin hiding nearby, and shoots him in the foot just to be petty. It sinks into a shimmering field instead.
Desmond, Clarabelle, have some soup and stay on your feet.
He slings soup at Desmond and Clarabelle, who are luckily fast enough to catch most of it in their mouths. Clarabelle feels the carrots and veggies invigorate her, while Desmond feels the proteins and starches pack his legs with springy strength.
Going somewhere?
With a swish of the wand, Desmond's bones feel overbearingly ticklish, and his whole body collapses. He spills to the floor, trembling and wheezing out pained laughs.
Oh, pathetic losers! Your souls are better off as chump change. Go forth, Lochnagogue, and make them submit.
There is a splash of foul words and a spray of blasphemous light. Then a horrid creature rips its way forth from the underbelly of reality. Towering over Desmond in a miasma of sin is some wicked abomination. A beefy yet rotting minotaur with the head of an emaciated horse, holding two foul instruments of death.
Get a hold of yourself.
These simple words help Desmond mount up a push for composure. They also make the towering demon shrink back and blink, momentarily reflecting on who they once were.
The book is working! I'm coming to help!
The chasers pop up again. One flicks her wand and more grasping vines seep up from the floor. The party has a harder time breaking free. The second chaser dashes over to her wounded teammate to offer comfort. At the sight and scent of a demon, Desmond quickly stops laughing and regains his senses, a look of intense focus on his face.
This is for my brother!
With an arcane flourish, his wand is now a staff, and he cracks Ronuld hard against his shoulder. Barrett, the brother in question, is trying to save face in front of his pretty teammate. They manage to remove the arrow and bandage his thigh. The demon seems cowed, as, instead of attacking as it had been commanded, it shrinks back from Desmond's increasingly intense aura. Despite disobedience, it does not break free from Dustin's control.
Could one of you get that damn book already?
Ronuld tries another spell, but it is cut apart with a counterspell from Brock. During the fray, the ranger slips back into the grasping grasses. He shoots across the room at the keeper, who isn't fast enough to swish it out of the way and gets nicked on the arm. Ronald's second volley thunks threateningly against the table the chaser is hiding behind.
Go, I will hold him off.
Tom sloshes soup and Ronuld slurps it from the air, catching a hint of spicy pepper and feeling the zing travel to his feet. The orc trudges through the vines and slams his pot into Brock, shattering his arcane shield.
Pitiful insect.
Another flick of the wand, and it is as if Ronald's body is encased in stone. Try as he might, he can't seem to move an inch.
Come on! You're weakened and outnumbered! Just give up peacefully or else we'll have to do this the hard way.
Dustin flicks his wand, and a roaring wave springs up from thin air, climbing and frothing high before slamming down in a line on Desmond and Ronuld. When the waters recede and disappear, the two are battered and bruised on the ground.
I'm sorry for doing this to you, Academy students, but you just won't quit, will you?
Clarabelle pins the keeper with a wide-eyed stare and begins slowly walking towards him. A ripping fear assaults his brain, but he braces back against it.
Not another step! Dauntis Frasium!
The chasers pop up to sling more spells. Vines creep around Clarabelle, and she just barely manages to angrily tear herself free. The other chaser gets spooked by the woman's rageful eyes and misses with her ice beam.
Sorry for the delay and any inconveniences.
Desmond and the demon are suddenly spinning about, blazing steel meeting blood-steeped hell iron. With a twisting slash, Desmond cleaves off a portion of its face, but it retaliates with a violent elbow to his hip, causing the paladin to miss before landing a hit with a handle spike.
Out of my way, Initium Revonicus!
Brock swings his staff at Tom but misses, shattering a painting on the wall. Barrett pops up and sends 3 white-hot lines of fire zipping into Clarabelle's shoulder, Desmond's side, and Ronald's sternum. He ducks back down with a throbbing headache.
Lochnagar! Knock them all unconscious!
The demon plants his blades into the floor, tanks Desmond's next attack, and then body slams him. When he stands again, the paladin is motionless, his swords no longer glowing. The demon then blasts through a table and brings a double hammer fist down hard on the top of Ronald's head. The old man crumples like a stringless puppet.
No, no, no. Oh my goodness. Get up, somebody.
Tom runs over to Ronuld, and since the demon is looming nearby, Brock is too busy shrinking back to stop him. The orc pours both soup and a health potion into Ronald's mouth. The old man jets awake.
Ooh, baby. Alrighty, we're back.
You ought to surrender.
Clarabelle's gaze is unwavering and unnerving. She doesn't say anything. The keeper sees his spell didn't work and backs up a little.
Listen, cutie. If you play nice, I'll keep you alive and get rid of the rest of them. So what will it be? A wave of the wand and the old man dies.
That doesn't scare me one bit, because I know you need us alive.
Then maybe you aren't as smart as you think you are.
With the insult, a pinprick of pain and tiny bead of red droops from Clarabelle's left nostril. She wipes it with her gloved thumb, looks at it, and laughs.
You know, I really do hate doing this to people. Or maybe I love it. It's oh so unladylike, but, well, you forced my hand, darling.
Horror blooms from Dustin's confused face as all his teammates bubble up into a mindless frenzy, screaming and cackling, thrashing about erratically, running into furniture and tripping over their own hysteria. Clarabelle walks calmly through the shrieks and grasping vines until she is smiling face to face with Dustin.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
One chaser goes tumbling over her cover table, laughing and ripping out her hair. The other chaser begins frantically trying to stab Barrett in the throat with Ronald's arrow, but she is shaking and crying too much to land at home.
It's mine! All mine! I'm a killer! I'll kill you!
Brock scrambles on all fours to the fireplace and begins howling into the flames. Barrett pins the chaser down and repeatedly slams her head into the floor.
Locknagog, do something! Stop this woman!
Ronald and Tom try their best to grab onto the demon, but it manages to thrash out from their grasps and gallops thunderously at Clarabelle. But their efforts, coupled with the still grasping vines of the chaser's entangle spell, slow it down just enough to not be able to reach her.
Shucks, it's a turkey shoot at this point. Cheers, doll.
Ronald takes a flask from his hip and downs a big swallow. He then flourishes an arrow and sends it across the room, an inch past Dustin's nose and directly into the keeper's eye. With another twirl, he sinks his next arrow deep into the closest chaser's gut. Both become even more hysterical.
Stop this foolishness right now before someone dies.
Tom lumbers forward, his giant frame and bellowing voice seeping the confidence out of Dustin. Everywhere the Seeker looks, his teammates are screaming mad, riddled with gruesome arrow wounds, or savagely trying to kill each other. Clarabelle is still smiling at him.
I always hated you.
The Keeper takes the black page tome and tries to bash Dustin's head off with it, missing and catching his arm instead.
Okay, we give up! Just stop! We give up!
The Seeker is shielding his head, sobbing with a primal fear that snaps Clarabelle out of her daze. She releases the mines within the room. Everyone stops where they are, gathering themselves in stunned silence. The grasping vines wither away as the chaser sinks to her knees, groaning in pain. Dustin orders the demon off into the nearby forest to fight and die against the drow. The room is filled with a timid silence. Desmond was brought back up with a healing potion and proceeds to give the quadball players minor medical treatment. Since they are tied up and quite weak from blood loss and trauma, Tom is spooning soup into their mouths. Ronald goes about collecting arrows and any dropped loot. Clarabelle sits at a table with her head in her hands. Sherry stands point at the door, one hand on her hilt and the other holding a bowl of Tom's soup.
Joke's on me for thinking the last week before break would be peaceful. Of course, there would be a demon running around campus and a woman going about making people crazy.
I really am sorry about my behavior there. That was unbecoming of me.
You just sit tight and wait for those clerics. You kids better be getting your story straight for when the rest of the guards get here. They'll just be giddy to hear how you sold Jove's soul, tricked me into getting him killed, and they made me spend 4 hours digging his grave.
We didn't make you bury him. You had no obligation to. He was just a homeless old man. If it weren't for this stupid group of adventurers, no one would have even cared.
Tom slides a spoonful of soup into Dustin's mouth mid-word, and he falters.
Shut your mouth, you murderer. Doesn't matter how much money your parents have. We're gonna throw everything we can at you in court. Jove was an innocent man and a friend.
As if. You commoner trash. We were going to sell your soul next, but we should have just gotten rid of you.
Sherry, despite her rough exterior, shrinks a little in surprised unease.
How did you obtain such a book?
I can summon demons, moron!
Demons are typically ungoverned by laws and seek nothing but destruction. The devil, alternatively, would be the type to trade in souls and oaths.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But my magic is a cut above. I summoned a special demon. You ever heard of the Hat Man?
Tom ignores all this, breaking apart cinnamon biscuits for the quadball players.
Would you can it with that cryptic nonsense?
Clarabelle is watching Ronald, who has frozen in the middle of cleaning an arrow. He turns to face Dustin, his face flushed and expressionless.
What do you know about that?
I do recall records of a special type of shadow demon in a long cloak and a wide-brimmed hat. It is unusually intelligent and cunning for a demon, and often haunts people with deals and promises until they succumb. A cloak and a wide-brimmed hat, you say?
Ronald begins walking towards Dustin in a threatening manner. Sherry interposes, tightening her grip on her sword and bowl.
Hold it, Buster. What do you think you're doing? They're scumbags, but they're still my responsibility.
What have you done with that foul demon, you fool?
Oh, so you know about the Hat Man? Well, I'm guessing from your reaction things didn't go very well for you. What happened? Get too greedy? Didn't read the fine print?
Ronuld starts towards the Seeker, and Sherry has to hold him back.
Watch it, Gramps. Can't you see he's trying to rattle you?
You're too young. You're all infants. You can't begin to imagine what that thing can do.
Perhaps we can debrief at a later time.
Why, wait! Bring me that book. I can call him up now.
Now, Ronald.
Try it and I'll lay you out cold.
Ronuld doesn't say or do anything. He just glares at Dustin, who begins to laugh until a sudden spoonful of soup almost makes him choke.
Enough excitement for one night. We take supper, we rest, and we handle this another time.
The tension dies down until the guards come to haul the quad ball players away. Yet all the while, Dustin smirks at Ronuld, his flippant amusement digging under the dwarf's skin. It isn't until the criminals are out of sight that the party is able to breathe a sigh of relief.
So, what'd you think? You like it? You didn't like it? Let me know in the comments down below. Please share with a friend. I spent so many hours on this. Please share with your friends. And yeah, that's all I got. So, see you next time, whenever that is. Double salute? Alright.
Desmond strikes a torch and strides out and...
That dragon's fire. Strong stuff.
The old dwarf blinks and... oh gosh. The old blorf drinks? What?
The real medics will pee here.
I'm too young to go to jail. Who are you calling old man crazy, you stuffed chicken?
Desmond nudges the foot with his... Desmond nudges the foot with his dirt, yes.
And a woman. Who knows what the hell is going up the...
You okay, Ronald?
Pathetic losers! Your souls are better off as chump change!
Or just go full skeleton. Necropi Fresium!
Look. I'm so sorry, Virgil. I love this line, though. Locknagog, do something! Stop this woman!
Better begin your story straight from when the gut rest. Got it.
Sobbing noises time. No, don't. Stop. No, don't.
I'm a killer! I'm a killer!
If you'd like me to redo any of that, please let me know.